Your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Global 99.5 FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madeira Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. So, today is Monday, and every Monday around these parts, we do what is called a masterclass on the Constitution of the Bahamas, and today will be the same. And boy, there's some things that went down over the past couple of days and hours that is going to cause us to digress again, but sticking within the theme of what we're doing here on the show. So first and foremost, before I introduce our standing guest on Masterclass Mondays, let's throw out the contact information as to how you can become a part of today's show. Oh, and welcome back to our Nassau radio audience. We are back on air. We had some technical challenges last week, and it's good to be back on air here in radio. I'll land here in New Providence. Okay, so that being said, we are on Global Radio 99.5 FM, as well as we are airing in Grand Bahama. The telephone numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, as well as on our official YouTube channels. And of course, you can download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. However you tune in, we want to encourage you to tune in because today's show is going to be a very, very important show. Professor, welcome back. Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson is our professor who will walk us through this maze of the Constitution, which, by the way, we are comparing to the Nationality Act. So welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm, and good afternoon. Bahamas. It's good to be here on Monday, and Monday always is Constitutional Day. And I think you're going to find that as we go through the Constitution and comparing it with the Nationality Act. And sometimes you have other interventions, of course. We have to deal with that because the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is supreme. I think Bahamians need to come to understand that because a lot of us sometimes get mixed up as to who said this and who said that. And I always say to them, what does the Constitution say? I was peppered with a lot of questions just recently.
Well, before we dive in, let me just get this out of the way. I would like to wish a very happy 91st birthday to Dame Marguerite Pinling, who celebrates today. I want to get this out of the way because once we get started, ain't no turning back.
Okay, that's right.
A huge happy birthday to Dame Marguerite. She's a woman of class and style, always has been. I mean, at the age of 90, she was still making international best dress lists for how she showed up for the coronation. Dame Marguerite, known to many over the years as Lady Pinling, just want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. And, you continue to be you. And, I've long admired you and appreciate you for all that you have done to sacrifice for this nation by way of being the wife of the founding father of the Bahamas, the late Sir Lyndon Pinling. So happy birthday, Dame. I have to tell you all a funny story, and then we can dive in. I got to get us out of the way, Professor, because once we dive in, that could be it.
That would be it, yes, ma'am.
I am the president of the Miss Bahamas organization, and we would, over the years, we taught our young ladies that it is your job to always step out looking like a queen, no matter what you're doing. And I often referred to then Lady Pinling, now Dame Marguerite, as an example of how to always present yourself like a queen. And I gave them this story, true story. I was a young reporter. Her husband was prime minister at the time. And he had to make this speech at a yacht club meeting in Florida. All these fancy big yacht and, yacht owners, etc. And the day that he was due to make the speech, they were supposed to arrive by boat on the water. That day was extremely windy. I talk in like gusts of wind, like you would think a storm was traveling. And the actual ceremony for this event was on the water side, right? So as we waited for their arrival, every single woman in that place, and any man with long hair, looked like we passed through a hurricane. I mean, I care how much you take time to fix your hair in the morning. Your hair did look bad, right? Because that's how much the wind was blowing. So I said to my cameraman, I say, boy, I can't wait to see Marguerite Pinling today. Because I know her hair gonna look bad. Because every time you see this woman, she was so well put together. Man, that boat pull up. So Lyndon and Lady Pinling step off that boat, and I look at that woman, I cut my eyes so hard because when I tell y'all, not one strand was out of place. I say, how? How is this possible? Everybody else here all over the place. And that woman step off that boat, not one strand. I look at her in my side eye. I say, this woman. So I often gave the young ladies in our system her as an example of how to carry yourself to always look the part of queen. And so, Dame Marguerite, at 91, you're still doing it. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish you a very, 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 very happy birthday. I know it's been a long time since we've seen each other, but I just wanted to do that. You know, you got to give people the roses while they're alive, you know?
Well, I certainly agree with that. She actually is the mother of the nation.
Yeah, yeah. When you consider that her husband
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
laid the
Founding father,
foundation.
yes.
Yeah.
So she played an important role
absolutely,
in
absolutely.
building the country.
So happy birthday, Dame. And you keep being you, girl. You keep showing the rest of us how it's done.
That's right.
Even in your 90s. Okay, now that is out the way, I'll put up my headphones so I won't miss nothing. Because, child, we about to go a little deep. Now, Professor and I have been going over the Nationality Act in comparison to the Constitution to see where they agree and where they disagree. Because as the professor often says, the Constitution is the supreme law. Now, there are two things that are receiving quite a bit of attention. One of them is the decision with regard to the fallout from the Privy Council ruling as it relates to Bahamian fathers automatically passing on their citizenship. This is single Bahamian men who had children within the Bahamas to foreign women, and what would be the requirements of those persons to show proof of that fatherhood. And there's been some debate as to whether or not DNA testing should be required, just to make sure that you have an additional layer to make sure that, you know, if that's your daddy, then that's your daddy for sure. Because, you know, little funny things has happened from time to time. And even though you sign for the child, don't necessarily mean that that child came from your loins. And so there are some of us who are saying that, well, just to be 100% sure, even though you may have signed for a child, in order to avoid fraud of any kind, you should be required to come up with some kind of DNA evidence to prove without a shadow of a doubt that that Bahamian man is in fact your father. And then ain't nobody got no issues because, you know, it is what it is in terms of what the ruling says, and you are then to go and apply for your passport. Well, the Attorney General said that protocols are being finalized for the passport office on how to proceed with applications from individuals impacted by the recent Privy Council ruling that under Article 6 of the Bahamas Constitution, all children born in the Bahamas out of wedlock to a Bahamian father and a foreign mother are Bahamians at birth. Pinder indicated that what now needs to be finalized is proof of paternity in matters where the father's name is not on the birth certificate. In other words, if no father signed, then yeah, you got to go get your DNA test. He indicated that for individuals whose father's name is on the birth certificate, the passport office is free to begin processing their applications for passports. The issue comes down to proof of paternity, Pinder told reporters. So we've drafted the new passport rules that deal with Article 6 of the Constitution. We vetted those rules now with the passport office, the Minister of Immigration, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has portfolio responsibility for the passport office. They provided their comments, and we revised those and circulated a revised draft to that group yesterday. Effectively, if you are born in the Bahamas to unwed parents, so you are illegitimate at the time of your birth, and your father was Bahamian, and that's reflected on your birth certificate, in other words, he signed for you, then the citizenship is naturally automatic because you presume the paternity through the birth certificate. The issue comes down to when you don't have a father in that situation listed on the birth certificate, and then how do you prove paternity and that the father was Bahamian? Through the Privy Council, though the Privy Council ruled that the children born in the Bahamas out of wedlock to Bahamian men and foreign women are Bahamian citizens at birth, Minister of Labor and Immigration Keith Bell, who we can be talking about on another matter, said on Sunday he believes the Department of Immigration should still accelerate the approximately 1,400 citizenship applications before it from people in this category, and those individuals applied for Bahamian citizenship prior to the ruling when an interpretation of the Constitution was that they had a right to apply for citizenship at age 18, but the ruling means that they are already citizens and have been since they were born, rendering their citizenship applications moot.
Now, one point right there. See, I have a difficulty with that right there because there's nothing in the Constitution, absolutely nothing in the Constitution that says in this particular situation they have to apply at 18. No such thing. Now, where they got that from, I don't know. But see, you have to be careful what the Constitution says, what the minister is saying. So if they were going by that, because when you look at Article 6, it says either of the parent, that refers to the mother or the father. In this particular ruling from the Privy Council, we were dealing specifically with the fathers, because the fathers were not constitutionally given the opportunity for their children. All right? So now, I also have a problem with people who write things on pieces of paper, because the documentation could be fraudulent. See, a birth certificate would be gotten by fraud. All right? So you can have fraud on both sides, the mother and the father, the mother purporting to be the mother of a particular child. And we also have some evidence where, in one particular case I know very well, that happened, where the young man and the woman went to register their child and come to find out he had already had another child registered in there. And that caused a big fracas right in the office. He said he was doing a favor for a friend or some other person, but the child has been registered as he being the father, which was not true. And so what you have is...
Wait, this is the same child in both instances?
Well, basically, the mother who was with him, right, had a child with him.
Right.
And they went to get it registered. And then when the woman looked through the files, she saw that, hey, you already have someone here. And that's when the fracas broke out.
Wait, when you say when the woman looked through the file, you mean that the child had already been registered with another father?
The child was already registered by him. He said he was doing a favor for the particular mother of that particular child.
Okay.
So right there you have fraud in system. Now, I don't know of that being corrected or anything like that. But what I'm simply saying is apparently there is evidence to show that fathers are being used to purport to be the father of certain children. Because the mother or the purported mother of the child wants her child to be a Bahamian citizen.
Right.
So they're using the Bahamian male, the single Bahamian male, to sign or to say that he is the father of that child.
Right.
So even though his name may appear on the document, that's not sufficient proof that he's the father of the child, because anybody could write any name.
I mean, it don't take rocket science to figure that out.
Exactly.
Because what is to stop someone coming to this country from another country already pregnant?
Exactly.
They go and they find a Bahamian man who is willing to sign for the child, whether it be for monetary, benefit or otherwise, doing a favor or whatever. So they go and they put their name on the child's birth certificate as the father.
Yes.
So now you're trying to tell me that that's it? That they don't have to prove any further than that they are the child's father indeed.
Well, when you look at the ruling, see, the Privy Council didn't add anything new, The Privy Council only told them, go and follow the law. That's it. They didn't add anything. They didn't change anything. So I want people to understand that the Privy Council didn't come up with anything new. What was in the Constitution from July the 10th, 1973 stays and has been so for up to 50 years next month. Okay? So let's get that part straight. And the Constitution speaks specifically, one, either of the parent, mother or father. Number two, have to be Bahamian at the time of the birth of the child. And number 3, the child has to be born in the Bahamas, not somewhere else. The people get this whole thing confused. Article 6 specifically says in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it applies to both mother and father. Because one would be a foreigner, either the mother or the father, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we got to get that straight. See, what I'm saying is, Ms. Malcolm, the authorities have not been examining the evidence carefully. See, there are specific things in the Constitution that are clear-cut. Article 6 is a clear-cut article. I don't see how they got it all mixed up for the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
But so it is. So those fathers were denied the opportunity for their children to become Bahamian citizens, even though they were to be Bahamian citizens at birth, according to the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not any new ruling or some new revelation, because some people like to put false spin on these things.
Mm-hmm.
What the Constitution said at the beginning, the Privy Council only told them, follow the rule, follow the law. It's just as simple as that. Now, how they fix that up, then that's them to deal with.
Right.
But the thing is that the father of these children, or the fathers of these children, whose mothers are foreigners, were not treated fairly for the last 50 years. Now, how many of them? See, we got to find out now if the Immigration Department is keeping accurate records. How accurate are their records? Who is who? How many do we have? How many are there that are in this particular number? We don't know that. Department of Immigration hasn't told us that. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That should be made known to the Bahamian people. Well, how many people are you talking about? How many fathers are affected? How many children are affected?
Right.
There should be no guessing, because you'll see further in that same report, the minister talks about some 1,400 persons who are being considered, and they are separate and apart from this other group. But that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They all fall under the same category. You can't do no separation there. And what the Attorney General is saying about, because your name on the certificate, you don't have to show any further proof. Anybody could write any name on any certificate.
I just think that we ain't serious.
We can't be serious if you're going through that kind of crap. You cannot be serious. So I'm saying it's the way how they're going about it in dealing with the issue. The government of the Bahamas has the duty to protect the interests of the Bahamian people and the nation. This is a very serious issue. It affects the stability of your country. It is affecting the stability of the country right now. Because we may have in our midst, and there's something else that's going to come about relating to Article 7. This is relating to Article 6. Something else is going to come up relating to Article 7, which would affect the status of purportedly people who were given citizenship or made citizens by paper, by the minister himself or the department, where it's questionable. And so we have some serious issues, and it's important that the Bahamian people demand better from the government of the Bahamas. We just can't take this thing willy-nilly. We don't know who we're dealing with. So we have to exercise caution and restraint. And I believe this thing has to be examined very, very carefully. I believe you should have a special committee just to deal with this particular issue with the single fathers. This should not be something you just kind of willy-nilly just let happen. Oh, well, his name on the birth certificate, he's the father. And the name Aeon, well, we ain't sure who you is, and we ain't know who you is. So you got to go through some testing. What kind of testing? That remains to be seen. But I'm saying, even with the mothers, we have to be certain that that particular person purporting to be the mother is the mother. But there's fraud on both sides, Ms. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can be playing with this, as seemed to be indicated there, and when you read further down, you'll see what the minister himself had to say. He believed. It's what the law says. He could believe anything he wants to believe.
Well, you know, Professor, we've been looking at the Nationality Act, and all
Yes.
through the Nationality Act, it says at the discretion of the
At
minister.
discretion of the minister, what the minister thinks.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of crap is this? He has taken unto himself powers that he never ever had. And that document is not constitutionally sound at all. It's not even a law.
I want to read a comment from one of our Facebook viewers.
Yes.
This is coming in from Richard. Richard says, "We know back then there was hardly any question on the paternity of a child or children with science as is now, even the U.S. paternity test to prove status. The Bahamas government needs to add proof of paternity in both cases, signed or unsigned."
Well, I agree with you. See, my father, I'll give an example of my father. My father made sure all 9 of his pigeons were born at home because he didn't want no mixing up at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That was then the Bahamas General Hospital all the way back to the time my mother was a nurse there. And
Mhm.
then, of course, it became Princess Margaret Hospital later.
Mm-hmm.
He made sure all 9 of his pigeons were born at home. I was there when the last one came out, my baby brother. And my Aunt Emmy delivered him, passed him to my mother, cleaned him up and everything. And then my mother planked him in my arms, said, "This is your baby brother."
Mm-hmm.
I held him before Daddy held him. I was the third one to hold him. But the point is, I'm saying that he wanted to be certain that all of his pigeons were his pigeons and not somebody else. And I can't blame him for that. That's just the way he was at that particular time. He took precautionary measures to make sure these are his children. But the same principle needs to be applied today, because with all this fraud and deceit and lies and hypocrisy going on, when it comes to the security of your nation, our leaders have a responsibility to exercise due diligence, and we can't afford to be making mistakes with persons who's supposed to know what the law says, because we messed up big time on Article 6.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And the single Bahamian fathers have been unfairly treated for approximately 50 years.
We got to take a break, Professor, but let me just say this, you know, because a lot of people would try to go back to the Nationality Act or some other act which says, you know, that there's no further proof needed if you sign for it.
No.
That was written back in 1973.
Yes.
A totally different time and era. They had no such thing called DNA back then.
No, they didn't.
So they had to go by whatever was on that piece of paper. We have advanced so far in science since then. If you are serious about protecting your nation, why not take advantage of everything that is available to you in 2023 to ensure that your daddy is your daddy, if whether his name on that thing or not? And quite frankly, I hear the music producer coming now, but quite frankly, if this your child, I don't see what the problem is, because clearly the DNA evidence will only back that up.
Precisely.
So is this a way to cover up some mess? And I even ain't talking about the mess of immigration and you know,
well, you had some
kowtow
too. Yes.
Kowtow to any particular group of people.
Exactly.
I talking about the mess that some people was doing out there that's been hidden for generations, and now you ain't want the truth come out because that can cause other issues. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, yes.
We talking about citizenship.
It's a very serious.
It's a serious matter.
Very serious.
Anyhow, we can take this break. When we come back, we will continue with Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. All these questions arising. We got an explosive thing we have to discuss as it relates to the Minister of Immigration, no less, Keith Bell. That on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
global paradigm shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this rainy but yet beautiful Monday afternoon. It's a masterclass Monday on the Constitution, and our guest is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page and the official Global 99.5 FM Facebook page. You can also catch us on our YouTube channels. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for calls and messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. And you can also catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. Download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. We are back on radio here in New Providence, so you can always tune in 99.5 FM on your dial. And a huge welcome to our Grand Bahama audience as well. So I know prior to the break, I said we were going to turn our attention to something explosive as it relates to the Minister of Immigration, but Professor has asked that we talk a little bit more about statements that have been recently made by the Attorney General, Ryan Pinder, as it relates to the process that should now be followed to get all of the persons who fall under the categories of being born to single Bahamian men and foreign women to just, once that father's name appears on your birth certificate, you can head to the passport office.
That's a problem.
Go get your documents and you're good to go.
Big problem right there. I'll stop that right in its tracks because that document could be fraudulent. We have seen too many frauds in the country in recent times. We have to make certain that the father is who we say he is. The child is who he say he is. See, there are some very specific points at the date of the birth of the child.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution says specifically, 1, the father or the mother has to be what? A Bahamian citizen. 2, the date of the child born where? In the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we just can't take this thing lightly. We have to take this thing very seriously. Because like you mentioned earlier in the show that, someone could come here
already pregnant. Which happens.
And hooks up with a single Bahamian man and
Mm-hmm.
they make an arrangement.
And he may think he's the father if her pregnancy is early enough.
Yes.
Along the way,
Right.
she might be able to swing him and convince him that's his child.
That's his child, yeah.
And then you have some unscrupulous people who might just do it for money.
Unfortunately, that's happening.
They short on a couple of dollars. They don't see the value of the sovereignty of this nation as anything to them. So for whatever couple of dollars they charge and say, okay, I'll sign for the baby if you give me this amount of money. And so if that's all you need,
yes,
I could see a thriving business.
It is a thriving business. And the thing is that because, see, the biggest problem I feel that since we became an independent nation is the lack of understanding of the Constitution for the average Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a massive drawback. It has hurt the Bahamas. It's hurting the Bahamas very badly today because there's so much confusion in the minds of the average person. They hear this one say this, they hear this one say that, and they themselves are not knowledgeable of the Constitution. They cannot decipher these things,
Mm-hmm.
so they are confused.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hear their leaders who they have confidence in. See, not because a person has an office or has the title of minister or the person is a representative, even in the House of Assembly, that particular person, when that person says something is gospel, that's not true. The person could be dead wrong. The point is the Constitution is supreme, not the government, not the Parliament, not the Attorney General,
Not the Nationality
not
Act.
the Nationality Act. The Constitution is supreme. That stands up. And you're going to find out of 137 articles in that Constitution, virtually just about 10 of them could run without having a referendum.
Mm.
I am so delighted that the Founding Fathers set that in stone. To change this Constitution, you need to go to the Bahamian people and get their approval. Now, of course, you have an administration in power right now that isn't interested in having any referendum. But they can't go anywhere if they don't have a referendum. And whatever else they do trying to circumvent the Constitution by talking about they could come up with one law, that's foolishness.
Mhm.
Utter nonsense and foolishness. The Constitution says specifically, particularly as it relates to citizenship issues, the only way it can be done to change anything on citizenship, you must go to the Bahamian people.
Mhm.
And that's ironclad, lock, stock, and barrel. Now, there are some people who got this funny idea in their head. They don't like that. They think Bahamian people ain't got no sense to make sound decisions and good judgment. But they have sense when they go and vote those same personalities in. Oh, that's no problem. We've won this election. We have the mandate to govern. Govern how? According to the Constitution. And the Bahamian people have trusted their political leader. Let me just say this with Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
For 50 years, next month, the Bahamian people generally have trusted the personalities who they sent to the House of Assembly and in the Senate to do the right thing. Now, all we got to do is roll everything back from the beginning, right on up to now, and the evidence is there, who all were there, every living one, dead or alive, who sat in that House, who sat in the Senate, and their extended personalities who they appointed as ambassadors or consul general or this or that or the next thing. Come on, man. So when you look at the entire thing, and if you get messed up on Article 6, and you ain't get that straightened out, and that's been going on for 50 years, pray tell me, and you asking the same people who botched it up to clean it up.
I want to read a comment from one of our WhatsApp audience members. It says, clearly the government is going to continue on this disastrous path in regards to this immigration issue regarding the Constitution. The lack of concern towards the Bahamian people is quite frightening. To allow someone's citizenship willy-nilly is treasonous. How can this government be taken seriously by the world? Don't they know their actions are seen by the world leaders? What they are doing needs to be condemned. I can only pray that during my lifetime, the Bahamas and whoever governs the country will do so that benefits all. Something needs to change.
Let me just comment on that. I think the call is, that's the text you said came in? No, that text is right on target. See, the thing is, the Bahamian people have to make better choices in who they choose to do our national affairs. We have done a poor job on that for the last 50 years. Very poor. We've been sending people to the Parliament of the Bahamas who know nothing about the Constitution, couldn't recognize if you put it in front of their face. They are oblivious to that. What you have is a bunch of political personalities sitting in the Parliament of the Bahamas, and they're saying to themselves, well, I am this or I am that. That's very unfortunate. And so you do not get the fact that, listen, you may be working to BTC, but you're also members in Barnabas Church. Two different things entirely. And you never get those things mixed up. You go to church in Barnabas on Sunday morning. You go to BTC on Monday morning. You've been doing that for years. You never get mixed up. But somehow we can't seem to get it straight when it comes to parliamentary representation and party representation. That has been a major challenge as I speak to you right now today. That ain't clear up yet, Ms. Malcolm. And Bahamians need to understand, you have to choose wisely. We have not been choosing wisely. We've not been making wise decisions on the personalities we send to be representing us in the House of Assembly and in the Senate.
All right, let me continue with another comment from one of our WhatsApp audience members. It says, the question I have is, what happens after one's child procures Bahamian passport and Bahamian father finds out that he is not the father and wishes to have the citizenship recalled or canceled? Will he have recourse under the law?
That's an interesting question. Very interesting question. And we know who can revoke citizenship. The Constitution is very clear on that. All right? But it's an interesting point. And see, it shouldn't even have to go that far.
Yeah.
If we are being diligent in our work. And that's why I am saying that the Immigration Department have accurate, precise information as to who these people are, what the numbers are like, because they haven't put out anything. I don't know of anything being put out. Or do we have to start all over again and put a national announcement out there and allow anyone out there who has a claim to bring it forth? And you have to have a special grouping to deal with that. This cannot be business as usual, because everything has to be thoroughly examined and checked before anything is done. But if we just have willy-nilly as it is now, say because it's name on the certificate, come on. We're asking for trouble.
Okay, I want to read real quick a little bit more of the article that appears
ma'am.
about the statements from Ryan Pinder, and then we'll go to a phone line. It says, speaking to reporters outside Cabinet about drafting a new protocol, Pinder says, we're working with the Ministry of Health to properly define that protocol. As you can imagine, it has to be by way of certified laboratories and properly recognized DNA results, and only down so many generations in these types of questions. Once that protocol is in place, then naturally we'll be able to proceed on the DNA element of it when the father is not on the birth certificate. We look to finalize that in short order. I suspect that the final rules will be given to the minister within the week, if not early next week, for execution and for signature, and then the passport office will be able to proceed under that.
Well, now, see, I don't understand that at all.
Make it quick, because we got a caller waiting.
Oh, well, let the caller come through, then I'll comment on it after.
Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not good, but just could I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the immigration minister and the immigration department making things so difficult?
What do you mean?
Okay, take for instance, this whole thing what they did with the single fathers, that mess up from the government. You agree with that?
From successive administrations.
Yes, I'm not picking out the PLP or whatever. I'm talking to both of them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a chance to say to clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you just roll with, to make things just simplify, just roll with the DNA?
Mm-hmm.
And then part two of this, that thing with Keith Bell, is that his name? The immigration officer?
Yeah.
Sunday, what I hear, that
Yeah,
to me...
we come into that. One thing at a time. I won't confuse that with what we're talking about now, because trust me, we can talk about this show today.
Because now that to me, that's, I ain't sleep well on that. I'm just trying to say, I need somebody to make sense, like to say, why is they making it so difficult when they have the instructions right in the front of them, like what the professor say, the Constitution. Like if you have the instructions right in front of you, why are you making it? Because I even look at Ryan Pinder, and he was in charge of something, then he leave, and then he come back. Well, what we doing? Like he leave, he come back, and then he's still cycling around the Constitution, like to say, okay, to leave a hole open for these people to jump through. You don't see how they operate. They're not to be trusted. Why can't you just follow the law? But if I break it, you won't throw the book at me.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously, and what I'm saying is, no matter how much you preach, and the professor stand there and he talk and blackmail say it, you don't think even they could have just opened it up, if they don't know it, listen to it, read it, and then say, okay, here's where we can move forward. But to me, they just like this thing we call power in the Bahamas, and it's crazy to me. I was a young fella, and I sitting back and I watching the law being broke by people who's supposed to govern me. And again, I know you're gonna run on with that Keith Bell thing. Be sitting down under the camp. You know what that sound like to me. So that meaning, like, if I got people who govern me going out and giving out what they ain't supposed to give out, how you think us who in the construction field who getting murdered in Freeport right now by immigrants? Y'all don't understand how deep this thing go. Immigrants is killing the shipyard.
Allegedly.
The shipyard people.
Mm-hmm.
When they come down, I can show you all something, I can just go. You know, when they bring in the shipyard people, you know they is house them and feed them and stuff like that, send their money away. They got one set where they do that too, and then the other set of people, they just randomly bring in there. And then you had, like, last week, you had a very minister talking to us like dogs. I didn't call the name, but it's talking to us like dogs. And one of us put out a note on it. You can see what he's saying, where they working us 2 weeks and then giving us 1 week pay. When you come back, they got, y'all don't understand what's going on. They calling us lazy. We out here, but the immigrants and stuff, I talk them, but they like flies. And then when you see they come and can't speak English. And the only thing when you ask them what's going on, they pushing out a piece of paper saying they working for this one, or they got a permit for that one. And then to hear what that man say in a church, not even like in a parliament where they, man, anyway, I going on that. Y'all, I gone.
Thanks for calling, caller. Now, for the record, I don't know what he's talking about in terms of immigrants allegedly killing. I know nothing about that. I don't know what he's talking about. Just want to say that for the record. Shall I read the rest of this and then we take a break?
Yeah,
okay. So
the rest of what you said was to read.
But you can you remember what points you wanted to make before I took the call?
Well, you were talking about the Attorney. Just read that point again about the Attorney General, what you read earlier. I want to comment on that.
Okay.
Where he made statements about the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
About these so-called protocols he's supposed to bring in.
All right, let me go back to that. It says, speaking to reporters outside Cabinet about
uh-huh.
drafting a new protocol, Pinder said, we're working with the Ministry of Health to properly define that protocol. As you can imagine, it has to be by way of certified laboratories and properly recognized DNA results, and only down so many generations in these types of questions. Once that protocol is in place, then naturally we'll be able to proceed on the DNA element of it when the father is not on the birth certificate.
All right, let's stop right there. I don't know about this down so many generations. I don't know nothing about that, okay? But I know this. What Article 6 says is final. No ifs, no ands, no buts. I don't care what kind of interpretation he may have in his head about different things. The problem with our people is they don't like to follow the Constitution. And this particular individual doesn't believe in referendum. He said it publicly. All right? All I'm saying is that we're dealing with people who've never followed the law, who've never followed the law of Article 6 in your Constitution, and the Bahamian people have to put the necessary pressure on them to make sure that they do it. Now, there's always something you could do with them kind of people. The Bahamian people have to make a determination. You can't just sit quietly and let them come up with any kind of piece of crap and say that's the way we can deal with it. No. You got to question every single thing, every single protocol that they bring forth. Is the protocol in place so that the law is fulfilled, that the law is not violated?
Okay, let me read the rest of this, and then I'm going to look at a comment on Facebook, and then we're going to take a break. It says the Passport Office has posted a notice at its New Providence office saying that it is awaiting guidance from the Attorney General on how to proceed with passport applications of people impacted by the May 4th ruling of the Privy Council. However, Pinder suggested that Passport Office officials should be handling applications where the father is known and documented. They should be looking at the applications where the father is on the birth certificate now, because that's a presumption, he said. I spoke to the chief passport officer on that, and so I think what they're doing is they're going through those applications to kind of separate them to know which ones they can deal with immediately and then which ones they have to deal with on a DNA protocol.
But see, all of them fall in the same category, Ms. Malcolm. What you talking about, separation of what? Separation of what?
The man signed for the child, Professor, so the child is his.
What are you talking about? This hasn't been dealt with in 50 years. So what are you talking about, separation of what? That's what I'm trying to understand.
If
what the man
name
said.
On the birth certificate
that
or
doesn't
not.
mean anything. Because anybody could sign a piece of paper and say, I'm the father or I'm the mother. So what the hell are you talking about? What did we go through all this exercise for, all the way to the Privy Council, for him to talk this kind of nonsense and foolishness? about you separating this one from that one, with all of them fall in the same category, single fathers? Or is there some other ulterior motive?
You know, the challenge is that there seems to be sometimes this disconnect between the prime minister and his cabinet ministers, because after the ruling last month, the prime minister said the government will work diligently to implement the Privy Council's decision and review the existing citizenship legislation to align with this new development. However, he also reiterated the point that the identity of the father needs to be known. First of all, this is quoting him now, first of all, I think we need to ensure that the daddy is the daddy and the daddy knows. Yes. And the only way to know that is if you have some kind of test, and there are some presumptions as well that we need to discuss. Presumptions that if there's a birth certificate that has the father's name on it, there's a presumption that he is the father, he said.
Well, you don't have to even no presumption anymore. You could pass that now. Okay? We have up-to-date information you could work with to determine whether that's the father or not. So you don't have to presume nothing or guess or speculate on anything. What kind of nonsense is this?
It's just an added layer of protection.
What we need is all protection we can get as a nation. And that is what the government of the Bahamas ought to be doing. No presuming or guessing or I feel, I believe. Come on, let's cut the crap, man. This is a very dangerous and serious situation. Bahamian people need to put the necessary pressure on their representatives and the government of the Bahamas to get it right. Because you're asking the same people who messed it up in the first place to go fix it. And if the Bahamian people are not involved in seeing to it that it's done right, then the crap would be right there again. 50 years of another piece of crap. Okay? And you can't accept that. They have not handled it for the last 50 years. The government of the Bahamas didn't do what was right for the single fathers. So I'm not going to sit here and believe that they out there by themselves are going to come up with the real answer to say, okay, we'll deal with it this way. We can look at the protocols. I don't have any problem with that. But it must line up with the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. If they ain't lining up with that, dog eat your lunch.
So I want to read a couple of comments from Facebook, then we're going to take a break. So Rose McPhee is saying, Michelle, suppose the real father has died. How are you going to get DNA? Well, Rose, the way DNA works is even if the father has died, other close relatives, you're still able to prove to a certain degree based on the DNA that runs through that family that you are indeed a close relative of that family. So it's not just only the father. If the father's no longer with us, there are other ways that you can determine based on siblings, and other close relatives, whether or not that indeed is your family. So it's not just the father. Now, another comment is being put here by Bertha, who says, shouldn't that man be responsible for that child if he signs the birth certificate, even if he later finds out the child is not his? If he had questions, he should have gotten a DNA done. The challenge, Bertha, is we're talking 50 years back. Exactly. DNA did not exist 50 years ago.
That's right.
But here's my thing. If you are taking care of a child, and that child, you're taking care of the child as your father, you sign for the father, whatever. Even if you take a DNA test that proves that biologically you are not the father of that child, that's not to say you have to stop taking care of the child or owning the child as yours.
Doesn't stop it.
It would just mean that you would be unable to pass on your citizenship to the child if it's not biologically yours.
Precisely.
But that's not to say that you would have to stop loving that child or caring for that child. It's just a matter of making sure that you go to every extent possible to ensure that when you're talking about giving out citizenship.
That's right. It's a serious matter.
A very serious matter, like we would say in AKA.
That's right.
This is a serious matter.
And that is what we want the governor of the Bahamas to do, to take every situation that is relevant to this particular matter and not take it like you're talking crap about because his name on a piece of paper. I detest that. when we have better ways of dealing with a situation that they abandoned for 50 years. So let's not talk no foolishness and no nonsense. We have to understand that the world has changed. People have changed. We got so much dishonesty and lying and cheating and stealing in this world today. People do all kinds of crooked things just to get an advantage on somebody else.
I'll tell you one thing. If we don't take it seriously, we know other people.
We're going to be in trouble.
We know other people who want desperately to have citizenship in this country. They see the value in it, even if we don't.
Yes, that is quite true. And this is what the Bahamian people have to wake up to. That is why it's important that we look carefully at the persons you send to represent you in the House of Assembly and in the Senate. See, that has been a big problem in this country for 50 years. We've been going along certain other lines, know nothing about the character of the person, don't even understand nothing about no constitution, but yet the next day he's minister some. Huh? What kind of crap is that? But these are the things that we've been through, Ms. Malcolm, and the Bahamian people had a trusting spirit. I was there from the very beginning. The Bahamian people trusted these individuals they had elected. Today you can't trust them no more. Don't believe anything what they say. Bring your proof. I want to see hardcore evidence. What are the numbers like? You hear them tell us any numbers? What does the Department of Immigration have? What are the numbers of the fathers and the numbers of the proposed children? We don't know.
Speaking about matters of trust.
You're not trusting in here. You got to have proof.
On the other side of the break, we can't ignore this whole explosive thing as it relates to Keith Bell, the Minister of Immigration. If you haven't heard the tape yet, my God, we got to talk about this. Sorry, Mr. Bell. Nothing personal, but we got to talk about this.
But it's the government of the Bahamas that's beyond him. See, I tell people plainly, what he is doing, that is the government of the Bahamas, all of them in that cabinet. He is the Minister of Immigration, yes, but that's the government of the Bahamas. So look beyond Keith Bell, although he's included in it. And don't try to separate him from the other fellas, because all of them are in that with cahoots.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take this break. On the other side, we go in there. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global paradigm shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. And we are looking at the Nationality Act, comparing it to the Constitution of the Bahamas with Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. The telephone numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. We're also streaming live on our YouTube channels, Cable Bahamas, Channel 974, and you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And we are back on radio here in New Providence. Good to be back on air, as well as, of course, airing in Grand Bahama. And as always, a huge welcome to our audience listening in all the way from Grand Bahama. Okay, so this recording was unveiled yesterday on Lincoln Bain's Facebook channel, Facebook page, with a recording that was supposedly done in a church at a funeral. Now, to give you the context in which this recording was done, according to Mr. Bain, the funeral was a gentleman of Haitian nationality who has been naturalized to become a Bahamian citizen. And he apparently died prior to being able to pass that privilege on to his wife and children. And so allegedly, the Minister of Immigration was in attendance at this funeral and allegedly decided to, I could say allegedly, but we can hear the tape for ourselves, decided to, at the funeral, bestow citizenship on the widow of the naturalized citizen at the funeral. And on this recording that we're going to hear, he actually says this is unorthodox. In other words, this isn't normally the way it's done. But yet he made a decision at this funeral to swear in this woman, the widow of this naturalized citizen, as a citizen of the Bahamas. Now, there's some challenges here. I'm going to let you hear the tape. You'll hear Mr. Bell himself. So there's no question as to whether or not somebody's making this up or whatever. Allegedly, he told the congregation attending this service not to record because he didn't want this apparently to get out, but somebody recorded it. at least the audio portion of it. Now, according to Mr. Bain, it was recorded by a Haitian national and then forwarded to him because apparently Haitians who have come into the Bahamas the right way were incensed, according to Mr. Bain, by what took place, because here it is, they've been waiting all this time to get their papers straight. And this man is going to walk into a funeral and make this decision and make it happen on the spot at a funeral. So, without any further ado, we're just going to play the clipping for what it is. Okay? So you could hear it for yourself. And then Professor and I are going to talk about whether or not this goes beyond being unorthodox, but is it also illegal? Or did he have rights within his seat, his role, his position as the Minister of Immigration to make a determination that he could in fact do this within the law? And if so, why are you allegedly telling people not to record it? Things that make you go, Without further ado, let's listen to this clipping.
What I'm about to do is unorthodox. So I'm afraid that I will be unorthodox. I want this racing, I want you to build up a little bit of strength. Right? A church I ask for your support. Et m'abandonne l'église tu pauvres, as I'm about to bestow citizenship. Passer ma baille citoyenneté. Avec famille petite bio campé. Maman doit soulever un courage pour nous. Des témoignages, children don't have to take the oath. Testimony va lui sermenter, but adults have to take the oath. Mais grand monde lui sermenter. Tracy, you repeat after me and say I and your full name. I, full name. Do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to King Charles III, King of the Bahamas, his heirs and successors, according to law, and that I will faithfully observe the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So help me God. La loi does not allow me to dispense with any part of what I believe. And so we will now sing the national anthem. Tout le monde, s'il vous plaît, camper. C'est parti. À 3, 1, 2, 3. enfants and the children. Et c'est mon Dieu, on behalf of the other friends. The papa de the minister, the cabinet, the cabinet, and behaviors everywhere. Et tout pays, tout partout, I welcome you. Nous tout bienvenue à ce développement comme nouveaux citoyens de Bahamas. Certificate I end by saying that Frank is now resting in peace.
Well, Frank may be rested in peace, but a lot of Bahamians ain't after hearing that. Professor, what are your thoughts based on what you just heard? Oh, for the record, for those listening by radio who couldn't really see the, what do you call it? The
video.
The video that had the captions. What was happening was there was an interpreter who was interpreting what he was saying from English to Creole for those in the service who, I guess, weren't very strong English speakers. So that's what you heard in between Mr. Bell and, the process of the person was interpreting for those within the church who, I guess, don't speak English very well. What are your thoughts, Professor?
You know something? He wasn't speaking on my behalf. I could tell you that right.
Well, he say on behalf of the all Bahamians.
No.
And the Prime Minister and the Cabinet.
No.
Welcome
the
newest citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
And how many citizens were there?
That's a done deal.
No, that's in his mind, that's a done deal. But
the 100% of people with a certificate, what you talking about?
He gives them a piece of paper with crap on it. So what? That doesn't mean anything. See, these are the things what we have to understand. The minister himself is dead wrong. How can a dead man pass on anything? Tell me. You got living people who can't pass on nothing. But a dead man could pass on something?
Let me read. Speaking of which, let me read something from one of our Facebook viewers. It says, this is really unfair. Me, who is a born Bahamian of Grand Bahama, who's married to a foreign woman, was told by Bahamas immigration that my wife has to wait at least 10 years before she could apply for Bahamian citizenship.
But this fella in the box.
He in the ground.
In the ground.
Well, I guess he was in the ground when the wife and children get their citizenship.
Well, but the point
the body was still above ground at that time.
Yeah, but the point is he's dead. How could a dead man pass on anything? How is that possible? That ain't constitutional. That's not constitutional. See, you have ministers in the government doing all kind of crappy things. That's why I keep telling the Bahamian people, you got to watch what these people are doing to us who have been given authority in this country. The very people who you gave the authority to are the ones who are messing up this country. That's the entire cabinet. So I don't look at what Keith Bell is doing. That's the cabinet of Bahamas doing that crap at the funeral.
Man, you trying to tell me that the Prime Minister know what he was doing? You sure Keith ain't just make this decision on his own?
Let me say this. What he did was the government of the Bahamas.
Because he say all Bahamians, everybody wasn't speaking for me.
No. He wasn't speaking for me either.
But yet he say that. So, so maybe he say on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, but they didn't know nothing about it.
Well then,
just like how I didn't know nothing about it.
Well, I know nothing about it either. But I'm simply saying is when you have people acting like this and behaving like this, it's a very serious and dangerous thing. And the Bahamian people got to wake up quickly before it's too late.
Normal procedure is that when somebody has applied for citizenship, it's put in the papers so that everybody could see that this person wishes to become a citizen of the Bahamas. And if you have any objection, this is your opportunity to object. But I ain't see nothing in the paper. Now, maybe I missed that day when this was in the paper. So he couldn't have been speaking on my behalf because I didn't know nothing about this.
That's right.
Maybe you didn't know and I just missed the paper that day.
And you're flooding your country with people who can't speak English. Is that what we're doing now? Who don't even know your language. Is that the way they're going to build the Bahamas? Is that the kind of country we are building? People who are citizens of the Bahamas should be fluent in the English language. They speak the language. They're
This
familiar
goes
with the language.
so much, yes, but this goes so
this
much
is very, very
deeper
dangerous.
than that. And I
Okay?
agree with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But if you have, well, first of all, is that legal?
No, it's not.
You
It's
sure?
not I can tell you right now on live on this radio, that is not constitutional. I know all the articles relating to citizenship. And there's no crap like that. What he did is in the Constitution. See, the Constitution is supreme, not what key bells say or what the government may say. If they're not acting according to the Constitution, it is unlawful, it is illegal, it's unconstitutional.
You had an opportunity to go through the Nationality Act to see if anything in there would say a dead man could pass on, or is it retroactive after his death? Or
Yeah, maybe it's in the Nationality Act. I don't even care about that because the Nationality Act is not even a law. It's not even a law. It's not. It has no legal standing. Maybe he got it from there. That may very well be, but it has no legal standing because it contravenes the Constitution. Any law that contravenes the Constitution is null and void. Article 2 of your Constitution. So I got to argue with him over the crap that he's doing. All I'm simply saying is the government of the Bahamas was involved with the foolishness that he was doing. Even if they claim they didn't know. Well, that's your problem. The Bahamian people got to look at this very seriously and see you have a bunch of people who are running this country who don't know what they're doing.
no, I disagree with that. I think they know just what they're doing.
Ms. Malcolm, if you are not going according to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas, you're doing foolishness.
I ain't disagreeing with that.
Okay. So I'm saying to you, the Bahamian people got to look at it objectively. Do you want that kind of a government? Do you want people running your national affairs, running roughshod over us, doing all kind of foolishness and making life hard for us who are genuine Bahamians? You got to be crazy.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Malcolm, how you doing?
How
you doing, Professor?
I'm doing bad today because all this crap.
Hey, Mr. Malcolm, this is blackmail. Listen, Professor is 110% accurate. What the Minister of Immigration did at that funeral was a criminal act. He's a criminal. All right?
Allegedly.
I used to know where allegedly today.
No, ain't no legend that.
That's a criminal act. Okay, now you mentioned the Nationality Act. That's an unconstitutional law, but let me show you even in the Nationality Act, what he did was criminal. Article 7.
Okay.
If anyone feels that they are entitled to citizenship under Articles 5, 7, 9, or 10, they can make application to the minister. And if the minister is satisfied that they have complied with all of the provisions of the Constitution, then he could do that. Even the Nationality Act points you to the Constitution.
I'm looking at it right now. You're right.
Yeah, tell the audience. Okay, so even the Nationality Act, the fraudulent document that Professor speaks about, even that tells you no citizenship if you ain't obey the Constitution. Now, here's the problem. Article 7 of the Constitution. 4 prerequisites. Born in the Bahamas, apply at the age of 18, but before you're 19 birthday, renounce, and then that's subject to national security and public policy. Right? They cannot renounce. The gentleman, I want the family to have my sympathy, but he is not even a Bahamian citizen, because I was told, allegedly, I think Lincoln mentioned it, that he just got his citizenship under Key Bell.
Right.
Huh. Well, that ain't legal either.
So here's the kicker. 2012 was, I think, 11 years ago. They cannot renounce. So how he gets citizenship if he just got his citizenship 2 or 3 years ago and he can't renounce? That's in violation of Article 7 of the Constitution. Therefore, he can't pass nothing on to his wife and his children.
That's correct.
Because he ain't no citizen. What we doing? This Malcolm, what we doing? What we doing? I mean, why, Miss Malcolm? See, let me show you. You all were speaking earlier. Here's why Ryan Pinder fooling around with this nonsense. They realize that the people from Hispaniola West, the door is closed as it relates to the Constitution. That door was closed 11 years ago. They realized the Nationality Act, based on Article 54 of the Constitution, anytime you want to alter a citizenship law, Articles 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, it has to have 3/4 votes from the House, 3/4 votes from the Senate, and then it goes to the electors for a referendum. Miss Malcolm, you're a smart journalist and you've been around. Very intelligent woman. Can you please provide the public with the results from the 1973 referendum for the Nationality Act going into the Constitution? Can you provide that? Can you tell the Bahamian public where can we go for that result?
No, I can't.
Well, let me help you. There's none.
Absolutely none.
So if you can't go for no result for the referendum for the Nationality Act, it is not a law.
Yeah.
Okay? The Nationality Act needed 3 signatures. It got a signature from the House. It got a signature from the Senate. But the people, me and you, Miss Malcolm, and Professor never signed it. That is a bounce check, refer to draw. It's not a law. And these jokers around here, fooling around in this country, let me tell you, the gentleman called earlier, let me tell you what it is, corruption, man. This is now the loophole that Ryan Pinder trying to put with no DNA. This is the justice of the peace, what they was doing all these years on steroids, because here's what happened. We know about the marriages of convenience, how Bahamian men were being paid. Okay, if that's all that happened now, they will now have an underground business where they will have Bahamian men waiting in line to sign these white certificates.
Even they got to be underground, they can do it above ground now.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I am just saying that this, the justice of the peace, corruption, and ain't no legend there again on steroids. I got documents, you know. I only waiting for their head to poke up, but they wouldn't dare. They would not dare let their head poke up because they know what they're doing. And Professor is 110% right. Good day, Miss Malcolm.
Thank you for calling.
This is very, very interesting. And see, the Bahamian people need to wake up because we have very serious national issues in this country that those who are given the responsibility to govern the affairs of this country are ignoring. Now, it's the Bahamian people have to do something about it. And there is something you can do about it. It has to be a unified effort, according to Article 24.1 of your Constitution. So don't sit back and say, oh, well, there's nothing we could do. That's utter foolishness and nonsense. This is the time for Bahamians to be united under their Constitution and act according to the supreme law of the land.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, Ms. Malcolm. That tape, what you just played, I hear that, right?
You hear it.
No, that can't be right.
You heard it. You ain't nothing wrong with your ass.
No, that can't be right. What you saying to me ain't right. So you just saying somebody just get citizenship in a funeral. That's what you're telling me. He just say, okay, I can just grant you citizenship, give away, so now she's equal to me.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And her husband is rest in peace now because his family's straight.
No, but our Constitution saying that we wasn't even speaking to these people. We wasn't even speaking to these people. My thing is, see, my whole vibe is what happened to this man, like Keith Bell. Like, what happened to him? Somebody explain that to me. Like, what happened to him?
You mean now that this is out?
What I'm moving for? Yes, like, where the F and M? Where the whoever's the opposition, where they is like speaking for him to be, and I ain't even talking about say cast him out, put him in the front of a court.
Well, maybe something will come out further that, disproves that video from being authentic. I don't know. But that's why I keep saying allegedly.
You know when
Because,
people tell
because
you...
it's
you,
an
you
audio
only-
recording, not video. It's an audio
No,
recording.
but what I'm saying is you gone in there premeditated, because if you gone in there telling me turn off my phone and stuff like that, that meaning you gone in there premeditated, know what you can do. I beyond that because that's him. I ain't saying no allegedly. I know you trying to protect your side, but that's him. That's his voice. That's his treasonous to this country. So I'm asking, what happens to this man? Like, I want Professor to say, like, okay, I know it might not happen because this is the Bahamas. It's not a real place. But I'm asking, I would blackmail on this and I roll in with this. What happened to this man? Somebody needs to answer that. Like, what happened to him? Do the opposition push for him to go get on in the front of a court? I know they do it all the time. But see, this time they get caught. Lies, like I said, you only could tell a lie over and over and over until you don't remember what the lie is you tell. You know that, I know that. But what happens to him? Because if you bless this woman and her children, I mean, and my kids and things competing against somebody who even don't even supposed to, and I'm so angry with this man again, because guess what? He was standing up a couple months ago talking this BS about, okay, they putting a stop on work permit and things. They might have put a stop on work permit, but then why we so held bound on giving out citizenship to challenge us? Somebody please tell me what can happen to this youth. Please.
Thank you for calling. Professor, you want to tackle that? Because I can't.
Yes, I will tackle that.
Let's hear it.
What is going to happen to the governor of the Bahamas? Not just Keith Bell, it's the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that is at fault with this crap. Let's get it straight, Bahamians. The government that you have elected to run your national affairs has screwed up badly, messed up badly. We as Bahamians have to deal with that. It is a very serious, dangerous issue that is happening right now in this country. We don't know what may happen tomorrow. Bahamians have to rally together under their constitution. That's why I said that you have to be constitutionally organized, Article 24(1) of your constitution. If you don't know how to do that, I will gladly provide my service to help you to
So
do it.
somebody on Facebook is asking the question, can we petition the Crown or the UK government for a Crown review of the application of the Constitution of the Bahamas?
I hear that, but I think we got to do something better than that. We have it within our power to do something better than that. We don't have to put up with the crap from people who don't know how to rule, who don't go by the Constitution. That's something we need to understand. We have made bad choices for the last 50 years, sending people to the House of Assembly, sending people to the Senate who know nothing about the Constitution. That's what we have done, Ms. Malcolm. The evidence is overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there in front of your face. You have a personality sitting in the office talking about he's Minister of Labor and Immigration, doing crap. The governor of the Bahamas is responsible for that. I don't just blame him. What are you going to do about the government of the Bahamas that is running your affairs today with this foolishness? This nonsense is going on. It's a very, very dangerous and a very serious matter. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. You ain't seen nothing yet.
All right, I want to read a couple of comments from WhatsApp. This one says, I'm beginning to wonder if the Bahamian people deserve to have the Bahamas as their home. Where is the outrage? Having a constitution is freedom and gives power to the people if followed. If the constitution is not followed, you are living under a system of dictatorship. As far as I'm concerned, all PMs, MPs, or anyone in governance since 1973 are all co-conspirators, and in my opinion, should not be spoken of in any good light. That's a message
I'm not going to
coming in
disagree
on
with that.
WhatsApp.
I'm not going to disagree with that at all, because it goes all the way back to July 10, 1973.
Mm-hmm.
I am saying that the Bahamian people, now that it's out in the open in our 50th year,
Mm-hmm.
we got to learn sense. This has been going on for decades by the government of the Bahamas. They're the real culprits, all this crap that's going on in this place. Now, the Bahamian people have to organize themselves, to deal with that. This is not something you take lightly. This is a very dangerous and serious situation which affects all of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes Bahamian people to understand, yes, the Constitution gives you these freedoms. Yes, it gives you the right to do certain things. But if you allow a government to just run roughshod over you and treat you any kind of way, and you just sit back and take the crap, where do you think you're going?
So I have another comment coming in on WhatsApp. It says, the audio you played is grossly offensive. What transpired was out of the purview of his job. Clearly, Bell was sanctioned to do what he did. What is the opposition of the government going to do about this? This is insulting. Are we all supposed to be stupid?
Let me just say this. The opposition and the government are in the same boat. So don't expect anything from them. What has to happen is the Bahamian people themselves. This is the message they need to get through their thick skull, because we've been lazy of this for the last 50 years. The people you send to the House of Assembly and the Senate to govern your national affairs have messed up badly in this country. It's just as simple as that. We've made bad choices in choosing these personalities to run our national affairs. That's what we have to correct. We got to fix that. Of course, we could take matters to court as well. But all I'm simply saying is, let us face the harsh reality. You've got a group of people running your country who are not constitutionally sound. It's just as simple as that. And that is a very dangerous position to be in. Extremely dangerous. Because we don't know what could happen today, what happen tomorrow. Unless the Bahamians will decide, let's stop this crap once and for all. And that is where an organized movement of Bahamian citizens. See, I always refer to Article 24.1, but they ignore it. It's been there for 50 years. The last phrase in Article 24.1, which I've used repeatedly over and over and over, and the Bahamian people ain't get it yet. And you're talking about what the opposition is going to do? You waiting for them and the PLP and the FNM in the same boat? Come on, man. They've been playing this game for 50 years. Now something has to be done by the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the harsh reality we have to face. I don't trust nothing what any of them say. If I don't see any proof, I don't believe it. I take that very, very seriously. I stick in with the Constitution, and we need Bahamians, the overwhelming majority of them, listen, let's follow our Constitution, we'll get results.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm and Mr. Thompson.
Good
I
afternoon.
guess what we need to do is get the police to lock up all the government, all of them, lock them up. And Ms. Malcolm and Mr. Thompson, you all need to get together and get groups of all the Bahamians to deal with all the situation what's going on right now in this country. You all are doing a wonderful and good job.
Thanks for calling, Bob.
Your confidence. But see, I am prepared, and I will say this live on air right now.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I know the Constitution. That's what I studied. I know what the Constitution says. I want to help the Bahamian people to get rid of this crap that we have in this country. We cannot continue to govern. I don't care what none of them say, all the words they roll out there. That means nothing to me. Watch their actions. Watch their behavior. It has not been good. Bahamians need to get that into their psyche. You have to do something. You have to organize yourselves constitutionally. The Constitution gives you the power to do that. To do what? To protect your interests. Do we have an interest to protect? Yes, we do. But you don't leave it up to a bunch of people who you have already seen hardcore evidence. Don't give a crap about what's going on in this place.
You know, my late sorrow, Maya Angelou once said, when somebody shows you who they are,
but we have seen who they are.
Believe them the first time.
Exactly. Now, this has been going on for 50 years.
My God.
50 years, Miss Malcolm. So when are we going to wake up as Bahamians to realize we got a bunch of crappy people running our national affairs? That's the bottom line to it. No ifs, no ands, and no buts. The evidence is overwhelming. Check from the very beginning straight on through for 50 years.
All right, we
It's
got to
all
take a
there.
break. I want to read one comment before we go to the break. It says, if you see and read what is in the Ministry of Haitian Living Abroad and how it ties to the Bahamas Nationality Act, the Bahamas is like a city of Troy with a Trojan horse. My God, great
terrible.
God from Zion. Anyhow, we can take this break, y'all. Yeah, because I need a break after all of this.
You do.
Lord, have mercy upon us. Jesus, take the wheel. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global paradigm shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with mailboat US addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings. All with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
We are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We have a comment on Facebook coming in from Bilal Al Masafir Kiri that says Bahamians need to stop voting for ketchup and mustard if this country ever start making sense. We take politics as a sport in this country, and that's what's causing all these problems. We keep voting for jokers. Somebody else is asking the question, Professor, the person says, Professor, please tell us what to do, and I'll do almost anything to help save my country.
But I'm glad you asked that question because I have the answer for that right now. Article 24.1 of your Constitution, the last phrase of Article 24.1. The Constitution empowers the Bahamian people to organize themselves to do what? To protect their interests. Do we have an interest to protect? Yes, we do. Our future, our children, our country. And if you ain't sure how to do it, I can put my number out right now. 465-5786. 465-5786. See, I know this document. I've been trained in constitutional law. I know what the law says. I don't have to listen to any crap from any minister. That means nothing to me. But you out there who are Bahamian citizens who don't understand the Constitution, I can understand that. I know how you've not understood it for the last 50 years. That's fine with me. But when the Queen died, then the Bahamian people realized, boy, listen, something got to be missing somewhere. Because even with the Constitution now, with the passing of Her Majesty the Queen, even as you look at that document today, there are some things in it that need to change. Now, that's a different kettle of fish. But what has to happen right now? You hear these programs every Monday, because I'll be here every Monday by the grace of God. And you hear the information, but you're not acting on it. That causes a major national problem. When you sit on your butt and you do nothing with the information, that means nothing to me. What's the point of me coming here every Monday to tell you the truth as it is in the Constitution? And I challenge anyone to tell me, Professor, you're wrong. Bring your proof. Not a living soul has called this show to challenge anything that I've said on this Constitution. Because I don't talk foolishness. I don't talk crap. I give it to the Bahamian people the way it is. Not someone who believes and say, well, I think this, or as I feel, I wake up on the wrong side tomorrow morning, what have you. No. The Constitution is supreme, not a government, not a minister, not an MP, not a senator. The Constitution, and that's why I try to get people to understand. Organize yourselves around the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It's your only salvation document. That's the only thing that can pull you out now. Don't listen to all them crappy things what them fellas say you write on scraps of paper. Say this is their plan and this thing and that thing and the next thing. Those things are worthless, Bahamians. They don't mean anything. You got 50 years to prove it. People who have had the opportunity to govern this country have frigged it up. And the problem is we got to face the harsh reality. But there's something we can do about it. But you got to move quickly now. You can't just keep sitting and allowing yourself to keep suffering, and talk about what we can do. Well, the Constitution tells you what you can do. Article 24.1.
Gotta go, Professor. Gotta go. Thank you.
Sorry.
Only 1 minute left and I gotta wrap
yes,
up.
Ma'am. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. See, I just get carried away.
Oh, man.
465-5786.
Yes.
Call me.
Well, time is gone, folks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is a serious matter.
Very serious.
A very serious matter. What you do with it, that on you. But the professor already, call him, y'all talk it over, figure out, do something, because we can't let this continue going on like this. This don't make no sense. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Gotta go. 4:00. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you, Professor, as always, for your contribution. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about talking with a group of pastors about some matters of national importance. You don't want to miss that conversation. We're going to go to the deep tomorrow. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for joining us on this Masterclass Monday of Constitution of the Bahamas. I'll see you guys tomorrow, God willing. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM.